the canine fam. Hope everyone's doing well. Was out at the Pomona show on Saturday. Saw some people I didn't see in a while, so it was cool. Couldn't stay real long, but good show. Good people as always, and got hit with some questions like I do, but one of the questions I want to go over tonight, because there's so much misinformation, and I think a lot of it is intentional, and when I break it down for you, it's really going to come down to common sense. When I take you behind that black curtain, right? When I break it all down, it's gonna make sense to you, because it's just straight up common sense. I'll let some people jump on, and we'll jump right into it. As always, guys, any questions, throw them out there. Comments, good, bad, ugly, doesn't matter. I go live. I don't have anybody like manning it and making sure that some people get on, some people don't, or if there's questions, they delete them. To me, listen, we keep it as real, raw, and live. That's how I roll. And you can agree with me, disagree with me, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to tell it like it is, the way I see it, based from real world experience in real time. So one of the questions I got on Saturday was an actual customer. He's been a customer for a while. And he was asking me, he's like, man, he's like, dude, these east-west, they call it the east-west, feet, right? Where the feet are going east and west, and they're on, they're sideways. Some are more extreme than others. He's like, man, I've been hearing about, I got to back down on the protein content. I go, why? He says, well, because that's what I'm told creates the east-west issue from a lot of these breeders. The bones growing too fast. There's the ligaments and the joints aren't catching up. There's all these like stories that people literally are making up, that when you really break it down, makes zero sense. And when you really break it down and you understand this is all a nutrient game, it's all about nutrients, then not only does it not make sense, it actually can hurt your animals. So, first of all your dogs, your canines, my canines, your canines, everyone's canines are carnivores. Bottom line. They survive and they thrive on organ meats, muscle meats, bones, bone marrow, that animal protein, animal fat. That's number one. Not even up for debate. So, by understanding that animal protein is the most nutrient-dense foods on the planet for your canines, and then for people to come in and say, well, you need to limit that so your dog doesn't go east-west because the bones are growing too fast. Well, if you really break this down, there's two reasons why they're going to go east-west. And most of the time, if it's really extreme, it's going to be genetic. So that maps back to the breeders. And if it's not extreme, then most of the time, it's going to be because the dogs are overweight. Or a combination of both. Because if you look at this as a human being, what happens when somebody is overweight? A human being. And you look at how they stand. Your legs, your hips are the foundation to keep this thing upright. Right? We're going to talk human beings right now. So when you're carrying extra body weight and really excessive body weight, your feet are going to go one of two ways or both. Your feet are going to go out to compensate for all that body weight, or depending on naturally how you walk, or they're going to go in depending on how your natural gait is, how your walk is. So a lot of times, if you pay attention to human beings, you'll actually, if you're walking behind a human being, you'll actually see, if you pay attention to their feet, because I pay attention to all of this. It's so intriguing to me. But a lot of times humans will actually go in on one side of their foot and out on the other. But when you see really overweight people, and they tend to have that inside step, it's so exaggerated because the foundation, the pillars are trying to compensate all that extra weight. Or it's the other way, right? You look at overweight people and the sides of their shoes are like just screaming, right? When they wear down their shoes, their sneakers, it's all worn on the side. Or if they tend to go in, then it's worn that way, because it's compensating for all that body weight. It's the exact same thing for your dogs. It's no different. Now, when you look at a human being, let's just say they're not overweight, but you can still see the inside of their instep is tilted. Well, that's genetic, right? The parents could have done something to alter that in the growth stages. But if you think by like braces and things like that, if it's extreme, but if you think that limiting the most nutrient dense foods, and then my question is, what are you going to replace it with? If you're going to limit them, what are you going to replace it with? And if you're limiting the most nutrient dense foods because the dog is overweight, that's a different story. Now you're wanting to get into a calorie deficit so your dog can lean out. But to blame it on the most nutrient dense foods because you're trying to sell this thing that the bones are growing too fast, or the ligaments in the joints, that's complete nonsense. And people are being misled. I had a full-on conversation with this guy. I said, first of all, and everything I'm saying here, I said to him, because my intention's pure. Well, his dog, I think his dog, I don't know, 6 or 8 months old. I said, and his dog was laying down, wasn't even, standing up. I said, man, you drop 10, 12 pounds on this dog, you'll see a complete difference, not in just the stance, but the movement of the dog, just like a human being. If you're overweight, it's going to limit your ability to move in a flow state, right? It's no different like when you see a human being and you say, man, what great movement. He moves like an athlete, or she moves like an athlete. It's simply because they're not carrying all that extra weight. And they've probably been an athlete their whole life, so their muscle memory and their overall conditioning is all in alignment. But for anybody to say that the reason at East-West, or issues with their stance, or issues with their back, has nothing to do with extra body weight and or genetics is simply wrong. And it's misleading. And people are making wrong decisions based on that information. Again, that's my question to anybody that talks about this. You're blaming animal protein on those issues, and you're going to limit the animal protein. Then what are you replacing it with? And if you're doing it for a calorie deficit, and you think you're replacing it with highly processed commercial feed, and you think that that's a better alternative, you got to explain why. It's subpar ingredients. So understanding that the food that you give your canines is the fuel. So the cleaner the fuel, the smoother the ride. Just like with a human being. I was looking forward to this tonight because, man, I've never really spoke about it enough. I'm going to speak on this more and more because it's just straight up nonsense. And it's misleading, and people are making wrong decisions, thinking they're making the right decisions based on that information. This is a nutrient game. And if you're a breeder, you want your breeding program to be just inundated with animal protein. Think about this. Wolves, coyotes, hyenas, Mother Nature. All they consume is animal protein, animal fat. And naturally, Mother Nature says, if you're overweight, you're not going to survive. That's all they consume from the beginning. From the time that they're being created. That's all mama consumes. That's all she consumes when she's feeding them. And that's all they consume when they're feeding off of mama and then when they wean off. From the time they're created to the time they die, it's animal protein, animal fat. So if you're saying that Mother Nature is wrong and has been wrong, that has the most successful, consistent breeding programs across the board forever. Forever. Guys, it's wrong. And there's different reasons for that. Some want to take the spotlight off of their breeding programs. Some want to pretend that they got real information. Some, it's a combination of both. Some just straight ignorance, that they don't know. They're just regurgitating what others have told them, or what they've read, or what they saw a TikTok video, or they saw a YouTube video. But let's really break this down common sense wise. You're talking about the most nutrient dense foods on the planet, and you're going to limit them, and you're going to blame them for the bones growing too much, too fast. So the dog's feet are east-west, or the elbow issues, or whatever other issues there are. Instead of understanding that you're, as a breeder, taking on the role of God to a certain degree. So if you are taking that responsibility on, then it has to start and stop with you. And again, my question is, you're going to limit the animal protein, then what are you going to replace it with? And if you're not going to replace it with something, then really what you're saying is it's not the animal protein, it's the calorie deficit you want to get them in so they lose weight, so now their structure doesn't have to compensate for all that extra body weight. And how simple is it to understand if your dog is overweight, just like a human being? If you could grab rolls, you're overweight. If you could grab rolls on your dog, they're overweight. Now, there's plenty of people, plenty of my customers that want their dog thick and overweight. They want that thick look. The English Bulldogs, some of the Frenchies, the XLs, even Corsos. A lot of people live and die on the scale, right? That's their thing. Now, that's their prerogative, right? That's what they're breeding for. But you can't come back when there's issues with the structure, the skeletal issues. You can't come back and blame it on something. Blame it on something that the dog needs to thrive on. That's the difference. That's what I'm saying. Again, just like humans. When I was 40 pounds heavier, I had issues with my lower back, my hips, my joints, all of that. Of course, this is remedial. This is really common sense. When I broke it down to him, he's like, man, I never really thought of it like that. Yeah, 100%. So anyway, there's my, anybody has any questions about this, throw it in the comments, but that's my stance on this. You're going to limit the most nutrient dense foods. What are you replacing them with? And what do you expect to happen? You expect the bones to grow at a slower rate? Is that what you're saying? Instead of looking at this in such a logical way and saying, well, wait a minute, my dog is overweight, so the feet and the ankles have to compensate, so now they're going to go this way, or one's going to go this way and one's going to go that way. Your Basset Hound's a picky eater. Definitely tried one of the joint or the multi, and once they smell the animal protein, animal fat. Basset Hound's a great, I'm glad you, oh, Jody, Basset Hound, great example. Genetics, and most of them are overweight. So where are their feet? They're this way. Genetics and overweight. Great. You cook for her, awesome. Well, at the end of the day, you know, we've done very well with the company because of picky eaters. But you also have to understand, yes, they point out, of course, right? Genetically, that's what they breed them to look, give them that look, right? And then also, most Basset Hounds are overweight. They're short, stocky, overweight, so their feet are going to be. Now, you get a Basset Hound that's lean and in shape, to a certain degree, most likely their feet are going to spay out. But it's not because there's too much animal protein. That's insane. Just not. But for the picky eaters, yeah, we've made our mark big time in the Frenchie world, and in the smaller, like the what are those? Yorkshires, the Yorkies, the Chihuahuas, a lot of those picky eaters, because once they smell the organ meats and the muscle meats and the bone marrow, they go crazy. What up, O-Town? What's up, my brother? A1 Pressa, what's going on, man? Yeah, so that's it. That's what we're talking about here. Great example, my guy Vitor. I just weighed him last week, 56 or 58 pounds, 57 pounds, something like that. Lean, ripped. Listen, if I put 5, 8, 10 pounds on him, he's not going to move the same. He's still going to be very athletic in comparison, but he's still not going to move the same. He's like lightning, right? It's no different than a human being. Ground beef, turkey with peas, carrots, and rice. Yeah, you definitely don't need the rice. They're not getting any nutrients from that. To be honest with you, the peas and the carrots, I know it feels good, but again, they don't need it for sure. Black Denim, what's up, big dog? Hope all is well, man. It's been a minute since I saw you. I thought I was going to see you in Pomona, but you might have been there, bro. I bounced quick. But yeah, let's again, it's just like human beings, guys. No different. If you're overweight, you're carrying extra weight, your feet are going to show it, because that's the foundation. They're the pillars. Your feet are either going to naturally start to go out. One might go in, one might go out, both might go in. They're going to be exaggerated on how you naturally are. For me, my feet naturally go out. That's how I walk. So when I was 40 pounds heavier, it was way more exaggerated. Now, my foundation is not carrying that extra 40 pounds, so my feet don't go out like they did. This is common sense 101, guys. Oh man, great. So Custom Canine started using the weight gainer on the Malinois. It smells good too. Yeah, man. And it's awesome supplement for the Malinois that are working because their metabolism is through the roof. Matter of fact, it's funny you say that, man. I didn't think I was ever going to have Vitor on the weight gainer, and I do, because his metabolism is just cranking, and we're expanding the backyard to make his training area with the turf double the size. Once that happens, we're back in, because I had to stop using the hard jolly ball. Oh man, I just found out he's got 3 broken canines. So we got to get root canal done, and I'm going to get some titanium caps for him eventually. But because of the hard jolly ball, he's so nuts and intense and so driven that he would bite it. And I also think that when I was at the Corso show and we did the bite work and he did the long sends and the dude caught him and swung him, he might have broke one there, or maybe 2 there. But the jolly balls, I had to take him to the vet because he was the jolly ball. It's a hard plastic ball, and he would run it into the step so hard that it would bounce off and hit him in the face. And we had to drain his. He had a blood thing in there. We drained it. Anyway, it's a lunatic. He's a lunatic. He's just like his mom. Anyway, medical insurance is a good thing to buy. Yeah, it's so funny. It's on my list because I'm gonna have to get some root canal done, and I want to get some titanium caps for his canines. I have a Shih Tzu, and I started to feed him meat and fresh farm eggs, and he started to snub his kibble. Of course, right? Because the kibble is foreign to him. That's the best thing you could do for that dog. The best thing. Meat, fresh farm eggs. Of course. So when people are telling you to limit that because they're trying to tell you that their bones are growing too fast, and that's why they're east-west, crazy. Who was the decoy at the event? A dude named Chris that originally started with Real Deal, and then he went on his own, and yeah, so a dude out here in SoCal. I wasn't even gonna do anything with Vitor that day. Anyway, long story short, it is what it is, and yeah, I don't know. Listen, I'm just guessing. So I don't know that his teeth broke at that event. I'm just trying to connect the dots, but for sure, the hard jolly ball, man, I'm sure had something to do with it too. So it's completely my bad on that. So yeah, yes, he is. I'm telling you, man, his dog. He's going to be 2 in December. He's fire, man. He is a whole lot of farm utility bulldog, man. Shit, a lot of fun, man. I can't wait to get this second part opened up. And so now I'm just using the soft rubber jolly balls. But yeah. Anyway, yeah, I should be receiving my puppy formula any day. The kibble, I believe, are not happening. It's dry, sensitive skin. Yeah, man, definitely should help for sure. And keep me posted. Keep us posted on how the dog likes it. But yeah, there's no mystery, right, to our products. It's organ meats, muscle meats, bones, bone marrow, bone broth. We're just following Mother Nature. And then in each that's the foundation of every product. And then each one we throw in other ingredients that move towards the direction of the product. Paul Factory, there he is, my brother. I got to get on his podcast, man. He's got to let me know when the podcast studio's ready, man. We're gonna bring some fire, man. Yeah, man. That's what it's all about. Animal protein, animal fat, There's nothing on this planet that's more nutrient dense for your canines. Just straight up facts. A1 Pressa, man, as always, my brother, appreciate the love, man. He sends it out to his crew. Big. Yeah, man, Paul Factory, let's go, man. We'll video it. We'll have a ton of content, man, and we'll bring some heat. Man, right back at you, man. Right back at you, brother. Come Correct Kennel Club. Love it, man. Love the name, man. Yeah, that's who the decoy was. But again, guys, I don't know. I can't say that I checked his teeth right after. I'm just saying, look, man, I got video of it. He hit like a freight train, spun him around. I think we did two sends, and he never did. That was the first time he did any send. But his bloodline, his mom and dad are just straight fire, and then his mom's bloodline go deep. So there's just no guessing. We knew he was coming out. There was going to be no issues with any of that. But I do need to get the teeth fixed, and I want to get some titanium caps, man. Let me tell you something. This dog has titanium canine caps. Ay. He is gonna. The fun meter is gonna go 10x. Then I won't even have to worry. Then we just go all out. But yeah, he's about 57 pounds right now. Ripped, man. Lean, hard, athletic muscle, and moves like a cat, man. His feet, that great. So this is a great thing. I talk about the feet going out, right? But the feet going flat, even, right? His feet are like cat feet, man. His paws are tight, man, and they're staying that way because I'm keeping them lean. His foundation doesn't have to compromise all that extra weight. Let's see, what's it say? Which one of your products do you suggest for my 16-month-old bully to gain about 15 to 20 pounds? Well, when it comes to the weight and saying like how much they're going to gain, I can't say that until I know the current weight, what the current meal plans are, what the current training regimen is, and what you consider quality 15 and 20 pounds. Our definition might be completely different. But when it comes to the products, our number one combo by far is the puppy formula stacked with the weight gainer. By far, Mama's Milk Stack. Blowing it out of the water. We're getting ready to go on Amazon, man, and I'm excited, man. Oh, guys, that's what I wanted to say. Yesterday or the day before, my attorney just sent in, we just got our trademark. So we are official, man. Canine Super Supplements trademark. So, yeah, I'm excited about that. But yeah, like Vitor's feet, man. Now, he came out of the gates like that, right? I saw him as a puppy, 3 months old. His feet were nice and tight. But because I keep him lean and hard, it's staying like that. And I'm telling you, man, moving on a dime. Like Barry Sanders movement, man. And I'm OG in this, so anybody, if you're not familiar, do some YouTube with Barry Sanders. He was on the Mama's Milk, so would it be time to move him to the weight gainer? Well, depends, right? If it's in budget to do both, multiple pathways at the same time. If it's not in budget to do both, and you're just looking for straight mass, then yeah, move them to the weight gainer. So again, depending on where you are budget-wise, if it fits in budget to do both, 100%. If not, shift them to the weight gainer now because of your goals. And again, guys, that's all I do, right? When I answer these questions, I just reverse engineer. Speak on the growth development with age. Well, great thing to talk about right? And as you know, it depends on the breed, depends on the breeding program, depends on the current. There's so many questions that need to be answered, right? Depends on the current meal program, depends on the current training regimen, but growth development. But no matter what, anybody that tells you you need to limit animal protein because it's fast forwarding the growth is just simply wrong. If you want to back it down because of calorie deficit, because they're gaining too much weight and you're having elbow issues, joint issues, paw issues, that's different. Just like with Vitor. If I put 10 pounds on him, his feet are not going to be as tight. He's not going to have the same movement. No different than a human being. Genetics all day, but also, right, 100%, you're right. But there's not an athlete in this world, canine and human, that's not going to enhance their genetics with top-notch nutrition. Just not going to happen. That's why LeBron James is a genetic freak, but has a nutritionist. That's why he has a strength and conditioning coach. That's why he has a basketball coach, right? It's about enhancing those genetics. That Yorkie is not going to put on the lean muscle like my guy Vitor or like your presses, but we can still enhance those genetics. So it's a three-wheel circus: genetics, nutrition, conditioning, rest and recovery. That's it. 100% fuel the fire. And my whole point here is when you understand that animal protein is the most nutrient-dense foods on the planet for carnivores, which are your canines, then there's only one reason to limit that, because you want to get into a calorie deficit to lean your dog out. Anything else doesn't make sense. How much do you believe feed versus genetics plays into the structure, development? Again, it depends. It depends on the breed, depends on the lifestyle, depends on conditioning program, depends on the age. But the bottom line here, to cut through all the smoke and mirrors, make it so simple. Animal protein, animal fat are the most nutrient-dense foods. Then you go from there. I'm trademarking. That's you're trademarking your logo, you mean? But anyway, feed versus genetics, right? They go hand in hand. So if you have a basset hound that's genetically bred to have their feet go out, the feed is only going to do so much, but the body weight, right? So where the feed comes in, if we're talking about apples and apples, if we're talking about animal protein, then you have to look at the dog's body weight. So again, if you want to get into a calorie deficit, the only way to do that healthy is animal protein and some animal fat, because you're going to get into a calorie deficit, but they're going to be feeding from a nutrient surplus. See, Vitor, he's 57 pounds ripped because he eats 1 pound of animal protein, animal fat, along with 4 hard-boiled eggs a day, and my supplements. So for his structure, his age, his conditioning program, it's perfect. Would he be the same on commercial feed? No, not even close. Not even close. No. So again, there's so many questions that have to be answered for that question, but I'm glad you asked. 100%. Yeah, guys, it's again, it's a really a 4-wheel circus, if you will. Again, nutrition, conditioning, rest and recovery, genetics. Right? So I've seen labs that are carrying tremendous lean muscle, dense lean muscle. I feed a 30-20 first ingredient beef, though I don't believe overfeeding a pup gets you a bigger dog, but of course malnutrition can stun a dog. Yeah, 100%. Just like a human being, right? Overfeeding, the term overfeeding is counterproductive, right? And then also, guys, your definition. For me, lean, hard, athletic muscle is what I'm always striving for. Some people want just the mass with the body weight. So again, identifying what your goals are as well is a very big, important part of the whole equation. So understanding what you want. See, back in the day when I was into powerlifting and I entered some local strongman contests, I was all about mass and size and strength. Now, it's all about lean, hard, athletic muscle. For Vitor, it's all about lean, hard, athletic muscle. He's an athlete, and I want him moving like an athlete his whole life. You have an XL and you just want sheer, or some of the Corso community, you want just sheer mass and thickness. Well, then that's your goal. Yeah, 100%, man. Hopefully this is helping out. But yeah, that question again on Saturday, I'm like, man, I gotta talk about this on the live, man, because I'm interested, but I have zero experience. What do you mean? Interested in what? Nutrition for your dogs? Outside of the occasional catch. Yeah, give me some more info. What do you mean? Great conversation. Yeah, man. A1 Press, a great conversation. You know why? Because it's real, man. It's real. And there's people that are being misled, right? And they're spending time, money, and effort and not getting the results that they want. And that's all I want to do, man. Is figure out what they want and try and get them there the most effective and efficient way. The whole pray, like A1 Press Perform was talking about, raw kill diet. And I mean, listen, as much as we can bring them back to their primal roots, that's where you're going to have the healthiest animal, right? That's where you're going to have even the Yorkies, even because you guys got to remember something. Yorkies are a great example. Man, they were bred to go into holes to catch rats. They were bred gladiators. It's just humans got involved and they wanted this foo-foo dog. But you take a young Yorkie, man, those dogs are savages. They're savages. Yorkies are savages, man. Yeah. It's just as soon as humans get involved, we jack things up, and then we don't want to take responsibility for it. And that's the problem, right? That's the whole reason why canine super supplements exist. I saw a void in the canine world with the commercial feed and the misinformation when it comes to nutrition, and it's so simple. That's why I created these products. I just saw a simple void in a community that I could fill it and bring in value. And that's just been my entrepreneurial DNA ever since they kicked me out of high school. I like to see one in a wrap box and see what they do. Yeah, again, but here's the thing though, guys. I mean, but to say that now in 2024 isn't fair to the breed though either, because they've been bred down and watered down. Now, you get a I'm sure with mice and a half decent sized rat, most are going to go at it. But give 2-3 generations of a working kennel for these Yorkies, all day long I'll throw my money in there. All day long, bro. Put them in that hole, they're going to come back out. Yeah, they're terriers. It's in their blood, but you got to be fair, right? We're coming into 2025, and they've been bred to be watered down for a very long time. Are there going to be ones that are going to just do it? Of course, right? But again, 2-3 generations, man. And at the same token, that's what I respect so much about. A great example is the Patterdales, right? They've always been a working breed. And they're always going to be savages because we kept that in them. The Jack Russell Terrier, right? You're going to have more likely working breeds versus the Yorkie in that breed. But again, we definitely have to be fair though about it too. But yeah, they're terriers. We just bred them to be foo-foo dogs. So we think of them. And I bring this up because this is such a cool conversation too. Because I get people asking me all the time at dog shows and when I'm out, hey, can my Yorkie take your supplements? Will it benefit? And I say, well, is your Yorkie a carnivore? And they just look at me. And of course, right? Of course we know the answer is yes. Of course they're going to benefit. Right? Because they're carnivores. And we just bred them for different things. And most people are breeding Yorkies now to be foo-foo dogs. Most people don't know they're holding a savage in their hand, man. And listen, you're not going to find a bigger fan of the terriers than me. I had a buddy when I was back home in Philly that had a Patterdale, man. And this dog, he lost his life because he went right at my other buddy had a XL and game bred pit, or I should just say performance bred pit. And this dog, Bo, was just the hardest mouth I've ever seen on an animal. 100 pounds. I mean, he was a, and this Patterdale went right at him and, lost his life because it got loose or something like that. But man, you guys ever been around Patterdales, man? Whew. Savages. There's difference in performance breeds, and yeah, 100%. I mean, 100%. They're breeding for two different things. 1,000%, right? I pray for the Patterdale, the more popularity they gain. Yeah, but I do think though that what saves them ultimately is the Jack Russell, because more people are breeding them because I guess the main AKC or whatever it is accept them, so that's where it gets really watered down. My Presa Canario family, we have to keep the performance in it 100%. Well, I've said this from day one, right? A serious Presa Canario is the ultimate man stop. It's exactly what you're looking for. There's enough beef, but there's enough performance, and there's enough physical ability. With that drive, it's the ultimate man stop, 100%. You need a passport. Where are you at? Come correct. Where are you located? But yeah, it's Chihuahuas, they're savages, man, if they're bred correctly. They're savages. Yeah, a lot of these little small dogs, man, maybe not the Pomeranian, but these Yorkies are savages, man. I love them. I love the terriers, man. They're just relentless machines, man. Relentless machines. I love them. But here's me, right? At the same time, I love Basset Hounds. I love Basset Hounds. I just do. I love English Bulldogs. Listen, man, I love both ends of the spectrum, right? I love the English Bulldog. I love the Basset Hound, and I love the Patterdale and the Terriers, and then I love the obviously the Farm Utility Bulldogs, man. That's my favorite. And that's what I got in Vitor. Yeah. What I love about Vitor, man, is God, he's so like Wyatt was, my boy Wyatt. He's so in tune with my energy. It's wild. Wild. So I have a neighbor, true story. I have a neighbor that's got a bull, and he'll keep the bull for like 2 to 3 years, and then he'll harvest it. So this is a young bull, right? He's thick boy, man. And when I bring Vitor up to the gate, or close to the gate, the bull comes out. He's facing off. Vitor, I get closer, he gets crazy. So I had Vitor being held on the leash, and I start walking up to the gate. I turned around. I'm not even kidding. There was a different facial expression and a whole different energy the closer I got to that bull without Vitor. There was an intensity that I never saw. It was awesome. It was awesome, man. Yeah, consider adding eggs to Olive's diet. Yeah, I mean, listen, it's yeah, good stuff, 100%. Yeah, man, this has been awesome, man. This is a great live tonight. Well, here's the thing though about Picky. She's picky because you're allowing it as well, right? So understand that, and that's, we'll talk about that on a whole nother live, because I'll go deep on that too. Jordan, what's up, my brother? Hope all is well. But that's a whole nother subject that we could talk about, and we can go deep on that. And I usually piss a lot of people off when I go deep on that, the picky eaters. But I'm just gonna keep it real. Yeah, that's one of the reasons she's picky. Yeah, again, guys, it's the truth. You stop the food, and she's, yeah. And also, what are you feeding her? You know, the whole thing, right? She doesn't. Anyway, we'll jump on another live next Wednesday. Here's what we'll talk about. How about this, guys? Next Wednesday, picky eaters. Bring all your stuff. We'll go deep on this, and we're gonna hurt some feelings, but we're gonna keep it real. So again, it's not about intentionally pissing people off or hurting feelings, but we're gonna keep it real. And when your dog is not eating, it's either sensing that there's no nutrients in that food, or there's a disconnect to their primal roots, and that's an issue. Yeah, that's an issue. So, and again, guys, this is how I roll, is this way, with pure intention. When my intention is pure to give back, help, but I say things that offends people, then you got to figure that out. That's your issue. I can put my head on the pillow, and that's how I roll, man. And so everything's about pure intention, based around real world, real time, 25 years of experience. So, and we have some awesome people on here with a ton of experience that can give their opinions and their real world feedback as well. So this has been an awesome live, man. Yeah, man. Peace out, brother. Appreciate the love. Guys, if you're getting anything from this, share, like, comment, get it out there. But Jody, check us out next Wednesday for sure. You're going to get a lot of great information. Yeah, and there's a reason why when a dog is that picky, you got to figure out we have to figure out how to get them back to their primal roots, because it's about quality of life. It's about quality of life. So anyway, peace out. Thank you guys. Appreciate you. Share, like, comment. Thank you.